Alrighty everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be covering the Seed of Famine, or Ranna is another one. So this one is going to be similar to the last boss I covered, Samael. Ranna I feel is a little bit easier just because this is just more of a DPS check and there's quite a few characters that are good for this, and I'll talk about them later. But as long as you're able to destroy the 4 summoned tentacles, then you are in good shape. So we're just going to go ahead and talk about some of the mechanics on here, some of the additional details, and then continue moving on from here. So first off, she does Upswell, which is weak physical damage to a random target. Again, it's weak physical damage, so it's not likely to kill any of your characters in one hit. Just to mention that this is primarily physical damage and physical damage based comp, so magic damage dealers do a little bit better, but I'll talk about the comps. So this is the passive mechanic that goes throughout the whole fight. So when a tentacle is defeated, Ranna instantly gains hypertension. Each surviving tentacle grants Ranna weak hypertension every second. When it reaches full capacity, she casts her ultimate, dealing fatal damage to all enemies. So this is a very important mechanic on here, where you need to be able to rotate and get a good damage rotation going throughout the whole fight, where once you start damaging a tentacle, if you can't kill them all before she reaches hypertension, then you just instantly lose the fight. So you need to be able to deal with those mechanics, which is avoiding some of these other mechanics that we'll talk about here. Another thing to note on here is that when a tentacle is defeated, you get the hypertension gain on that. So if you take too long to kill the tentacles as well, rather than just trying to turtle it out and do damage over time, then again you're going to struggle for that. So it's kind of harder in the last phases because you need to have enough damage to kill the tentacles, and then you need to have enough damage to burst the core down. So we'll keep moving on. Immune to control effects, attack speed down. This is an important one where you're untargetable. So characters that normally don't have targetables are actually fairly good in this one compared to some of the other bosses where they have a lot of targetables. Not to say that there isn't targetables, there are targetables in here, just that most of the time you don't need to worry about that. When all the tentacles are destroyed, she becomes weakened, immobile, and vulnerable to attacks. Hypertension stops increasing and resets. So again, basically you need to kill all of the tentacles, and then you need to kill the core once she's falls down. She's unable to take any other damage until then, but she does get shared damage from here. So let's see. Battle start. Each time recovering from weakened state summons a sea creature. Tentacles prioritize different targets. So again, this is more beneficial to you because each of the tentacles are basically attacking different characters. So as long as you have a good AoE heal, you're going to be fine. So all of the damage is not going to be front loaded onto one character. The tentacles take damage. She also takes a small portion of that damage. It's very, very insignificant, but it does add up. So this is another important mechanic. She shakes the ships, gathering enemies to one side, raises the attack tentacle and smashes the target area, brief delay inflicting stun and dealing strong physical damage for all enemies in the area. I don't remember exactly how long the stun is, but it's a fairly long time. It's like 4 or 5 seconds. So that 4 or 5 seconds can be very vital if you're trying to kill these tentacles so she doesn't reach the hypertension and does this one-shot mechanic. So you need to be able to avoid that. So either you have enough damage to kill the tentacles, or if you don't, then you're able to move out of the side of that smash so you don't get stunned by it. After the smash, the tentacles linger briefly and can be attacked. When the tentacle takes damage, Ranna also takes a portion of the damage. This I think is a mistranslation because in the fight it's the left and right claws for whatever reason, and they are only vulnerable to be attacked after that smash. So I only tested it one time. I just wanted to see what it was. But if you basically destroy that tentacle, then you can't be hit by that tentacle during the rest of the fight. However, you want to just save most of your damage for killing these tentacles and just burn through them. So you don't really need to do this method. It actually slows you down and makes it more likely that you're going to get one shot by this ultimate right here, passive. The other interesting thing is starting in the second phase, she'll create a vortex from her mouth that pulls everybody into the mouth. Summons get pulled in faster, so the first enemy hit basically gets chewed, spat out, takes massive physical damage. So you want to bring somebody that can use summons, basically. It has to be physical summons. So Bella is, again, going to be one of the best ones for dealing with this specific mechanic. Vortex dissipates if a non-summoned unit is devoured. She recovers a broken tentacle and gains a permanent attack up. The attack up, I tried it just for kicks and giggles. It's fairly significant, and the broken tentacle is annoying, especially in the second phase, because you have to kill 4 tentacles, and so if you have to do 5, you're basically adding 20% more HP that you need to burn down. So it's helpful to bring a summon of some kind. And so that's pretty much all of her mechanics. She doesn't have anything else than that, so it's fairly straightforward, fairly simple. We'll go ahead and swap over to my guidebook real quick and just talk about some of the teams. So normally Magic teams have been fairly dominant in most of these bosses, or at least for Clive and Sheila. Samael, again, fairly dominant, but in this one Van Helsing is actually the MVP just because it's a non-targetable, and so he's able to just go pew 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 and kill all of the tentacles while he's maintaining his stacks, and he's able to continue that on into dealing damage into the core. So acapella is very vital in this one. Anybody with a TP, SEA is very helpful in this one just because she can move you to one side or the other. Bella, again, just because she can do the summons and she could tank some of the damage, but you aren't really needing to tank the damage. So if you wanted to bring another character that could do a summons, like a Piera or something like that, you could. Tinoa could potentially work as well. It's just not quite as effective just because they aren't as targetable. So I just throw her in here just for whatever kicks and giggles. And then Del Carlo is just there for a low cost rotation. I could potentially swap this out for Reza and then just filter between them if I wanted even lower cost rotation here. But Del Carlo works fine because she also does the debuffs, but she isn't really able to get any good CC off of any of the enemies that spawn in here. I was able to clear it with this comp as well. Both of these were able to do it first try right off of the bat. After I figured out the mechanics. Then next, I haven't tested it for this video just because I wanted to get it. I'm feeling kind of tired, so I wanted to get this out of the way and then go to bed early. I've been sick for the last 5 days again. I just can't seem to catch a break. So I will test more comps and put them down here later, but I think any main damage DPS should be fine here. So a Tybalt should be fine here. Like a T-Haiti type of comp should work fine here as well. And then summon type of like Tinoa, Cecia comp should work here as well, especially with the Bela. So I just haven't tested them myself, made sure they could do a full clear, but these guys, should be fairly easy to get a full clear. As far as notes and strategy, you pretty much just ignore the claws, TP to one side. If you get pooled, you just need a good enough damage rotation, so whoever is your main damage carries, that's basically who you use. If you need to swap gear because everybody is forced to be level 200 in this, so it doesn't really matter quite as much about copies and everything, but the gear and artifacts will give you a really good boost. Then just make sure you have a good damage rotation going. So you need enough damage to kill the tentacles, but you also want enough damage to kill the burst, kill the core basically. Because if you can't kill the core, then you're just struggling to make it through the phases. So that's gonna be it. We're gonna go ahead and hop back into here and just do a fight. And there's only one other thing to talk about which wasn't mentioned in the actual skills here, and that's the stage mechanic. Hypertension begins to increase when the first tentacle is defeated. So if you're doing a bunch of AoE type attacks, so you're focusing one and then the other, basically you have some time to be able to burst them. So that's why it's important that you build up your energy and then try to go for a big burst damage, rather than just trying to quickly defeat all of the tentacles, because if you don't have enough damage, if you say you defeat 2 or 3 out of the 4, then you could get yourself stuck. So this is pretty much the layout. I have Bella up front, I have De Carlo in the middle, Lamia I'm going to swap out for Van Helsing here, Van Helsing on one side, and then Acapella on the other side. So you could move your Starry-Eyed Aona to one side or the other. It doesn't really matter. I just had her on Del Carlo because I believe she has my lowest physical defense right now. So whoever is your lowest physical defense, put her on there. The ult order is basically going to be Acapella, Starry-Eyed, and then Van basically to trigger it. And then once he's triggered, then you'll just throw a Del Carlo ult on either the tentacles or the core. It depends on which stage of the rotation. For the first phase, it's likely to be that you're going to use her for the core, and then for the second phase, you're likely to use her ult on the tentacles just to weaken them down so Van could finish them off. That's going to be pretty much it, so I'll go ahead and get started on this run. So again, we're just starting up. Here's the 4 tentacles. So basically hypertension doesn't start until I defeated that first tentacle. Every tentacle that is defeated will also will add hypertension to it. So it is a tricky thing where if you are unable to kill any of them and they just keep building up hypertension, then you kill a couple of them all at once, it's going to do a big burst of hypertension. I don't know what the actual damage rotation is on here. I didn't really check, but anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and get this going. Just going to wait. Basically, you don't take a whole lot of damage. So right there, that's the pool. So all I did is from here, as soon as you do the pool, I'm saving her ult, and I'm just going to TP off to one side. As long as you're in the middle somewhere, out of the way, then you're not going to get hit by the slam that'll follow up. Maybe I'll hold down. Okay, no, I won't be able to show it to you. I was trying to see if I could hold on to it and see if I can show you how the slam comes, but maybe it'll be in the second phase. So right now I'm attacking the core, so I'm going to adult ult on here, and then I'm just going to excuse me. I'm going to do her ult, and then I'm just going to wait basically. And then we got the rotation going again. Okay. Alright, so I wasn't able to kill the core that time, but that's fine. It was enough damage where I'm now entering the second phase. So here I'm just waiting, so I got TP'd. So I'm just going to use him, TP over to one side. And then you'll see the slam here. You'll see the what's it called? There'll be 2 blue lines that come down, and that's how you know that it is the actual tentacles are about to do their slam. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and get Van ult going here, and I'm going to save up energy. So there's this vortex, it's sucking in, basically it's chewing on the summon minions right now, and it's just going to spit them back out. So if you didn't have the summons, then your whole team is going to get sucked forward towards there. So I'm just going to weaken these 2 in the middle here, get Acapella going. Alright, so she did that, so I'm just going to TP to one side real quick. Okay. I'm just going to wait and get Van ult going again. Then I'm going to get Akka going again. Then I'm just going to TP immediately just to get the Blood Moon going. I'm going to use her ult. Use her ult. And then that's pretty much it. It should be, I'll have one more rotation to go through here, and then I'll be good. Okay, there's a Atoll ult. Alright, I'm just gonna do this. Get this going. Gonna finish off the 2 tentacles, and boom. So it's fairly simple as long as you have the damage. If you don't have the damage, then you need to worry about more dodging the tentacles. Then you need to worry about more making sure that you're avoiding the rest of the mechanics. So if you look here, Van did pretty much all of the damage. Del Carlo did some of the damage, but honestly, like, she wasn't really needed. You could replace her for something else. I assume once we get like a Serene and a Fleeting Bella, she'll probably be replaced by one of those for this fight, maybe. We'll see. So, yep, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was a fairly straightforward one. Just remember that these T9, you want the Fragment 9 bonuses because it's the only way to get the hammers. You can't get them from any other chest, basically. So hopefully that helps, and I will see you guys in the next video.